What up, what up? Welcome to Mr. Brown's class, where there's no whining and no complaining. Today we're looking at finding rates of change and slope. Now, slope and rates of change are basically the same thing, right? When we talk about rates of change, we're talking about miles per hour, all right? We're talking about miles per gallon. We're talking about unit price, okay, what it is for like one can of soda. All right, that's rates of change. All right, what's it going up by for every one or every two? What's it going up by? And so these things are pretty much synonymous. All right, so we've reviewed the slope. We've talked about slope before. We're just going to review it again here. So some of this should be a refresher, but let's look at this first one. Okay. See if you can, from your memory, see if you can find the slope of this line. All right. So go ahead and pause it and then see if you can find the slope of it. All right. When we're talking about slope, what are we talking about? We're talking about how much a line rises over how much it runs. Okay, now later on, we're going to have another part where we actually have a formula. But here, we're going to look at this and see on this line, how much does it rise, which is the y. Okay, and here is the run is the x. So this is up and down. This is side to side. Right, so on this line, it's going to go up 2. All right, so rises 2. That's not a very good color here. Rises 2. Runs how much? 4. All right, so it rose 2 over 4. So the slope equals 2 over 4, but we have to reduce that down to 1/2. Now, if we look at it, now look at how it does not cross perfectly. Notice there's a dot here, okay, and it perfectly crosses right where these two lines meet, right? But it doesn't cross perfectly there, but it does again right there. All right, and look at that, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, right? Up 1 over 2. See how it doesn't cross perfectly there, but it crosses perfectly right there. I actually did a good job drawing. It's hard to draw, okay? And it's the same way the opposite way. Down 1, -1, -2, right here. All right, so your slope is always going up and over, all right, rise over run. Okay, so again, rise over run. So see if you can figure out the slope of this line on your own. Pause it. Okay, so we're starting down, starting at this dot. I always start with the furthest left dot. Okay, where does it cross perfectly? Okay, so if that dot wasn't there, we would look for somewhere where the line crosses perfectly with two other lines. Okay, so we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's going to go down, so it's -9, right? So we have -9, and then we go 1, 2, 3 over. Okay, so we run +3 because we go to the right. So we go down 9, all right? And again, I like to work perfectly or from left to right. So this one would be -9 over 3, which would reduce down to -3 over 1, which we could just write -3 as our slope. Okay? let me throw a couple, and if we look at this, we go down 3 over 1. If I drew a straight line, there'd be another dot there. Down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. Okay, because remember that this is over 1. All right, all whole numbers are over 1. Let me draw another one. Okay, so let's look at this line right here, and I put the dots in there for you. All right, but again, you could look at where does it cross perfectly, because on your assignment, they might not cross perfectly. Okay, so go ahead and figure out that slope. All right, now we haven't talked about this yet, but if it's going downhill left to right, it's going to be negative. Okay, just like this one was going downhill left to right, that was a -3. This one was going uphill left to right, so it was a +1/2. All right, so we're going to go down 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this one, okay, is -2 over 4. So it went down -2. It went right positive. So this one's -1/2. So it's the opposite of this line here. This is +1/2. This is -1/2. All right, now forget about this here. All right, we're looking at this line here. Now I did not put the dots in here, so you got to figure this one out on your own without the dots. So go ahead and pause it. Okay, so right here it crosses perfectly. All right, right here crosses perfectly. All right, right here crosses perfectly. Right here, and so on. Okay, so this one's pretty easy. You go up 1, over 1. All right, rise 1, run 1. Rise 1, run. Okay, so up 1, over 1, which equals 1. Now you could have picked here and here, and it would still end up being up 2, over 2, which would reduce down to 1. All right, so we always reduce down to the simplest form. All right, so finding the slope is not very difficult. Now, a couple ones that you do have to watch out for, all right, is when you have a horizontal line. So if I can draw a horizontal line like this, okay, this is going to have a slope of 0. All right, any horizontal line is going to have a slope of 0. All right, and any vertical line is going to be undefined. All right, we learned this before. Okay, remember that in a function, you can't have multiple x's. Okay, so you have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay, so you repeat the x's on this one. So this is undefined. Right? You cannot have a straight up and down line to be considered a function. Okay, so those are little tricks that you need to know. Remember, everybody, be more awesome, and make sure that if you like this video, that you subscribe and like and share it with somebody that might be struggling with this concept or other concepts with math.